So we'll start again.
Yep.
What's your connection with the Aboriginal community here?
So because I was raised here and I've always felt accepted in community here, um, because of my own heritage, being Aboriginal but also the Wadrung line, I've felt because there's been always a kinship connection between Wadrung and Jarrung or Jara Jara. I've felt at peace and home here. We both share the same family clan totem, so we're both Crow. That's my family clan and the Jara family clan. But what I do here now recently is what's called the Meeting Place program. I work for Melbourne Aboriginal Services. So what we do is we try to get the children or the Aboriginal children from the different school areas and we take them out to Yaping, which is um, translated the place meaning place of dance, Yapana, Yapana. And we go to the old school there that's not running as a school now, but annexed by Castlemaine Secondary College. And we take the children and Auntie Julie McHale and Uncle Rick Nelson and Auntie Kath Koff and myself and a whole other lot of beautiful volunteer people that are not Aboriginal, but they are our family. We consider them our family. Help us run this program with the children, and it's about talking to them about culture, stories of this particular area, like I explained, the three mountains, where we're positioned, what happened in the local area, where we would find where the ancestors found and where we would find now today, like bush tucker and what that is and what to look for in terms of planting. There is also a subgroup of that program that takes the young men out on what's called men's business. So they talk about men's sites and example tool making sites, things like that. They also do once in a while a men's initiation under the guidance of Uncle Ricky Nelson and such. He only does that with a few trusted men that he
Hmm.
you know
Hmm.
is very good friends with.
Hmm.
But they are non-Aboriginal and they are our family within community. Those who walk with us in my language are calling Warana. We
Hmm.
walk together. Um, they
So
become family.
in Aboriginal customs and beliefs, it's like all of humankind is part of, it's all brother and sister.
In my personal belief, I believe that to be true because I feel that if non or I don't want to sound politically correct. Non-Aboriginal people still have the same connection to country, which is what we're aiming to do with these children. Our
Yeah.
children is to bring
Yeah.
back that connection to country. If you
Yeah.
learn about your land, your stories of the land, and how to look after land and be respectful of land and her resources and things, then you have a connection. You know why you're respecting it. You know why you love it.
Hmm.
And when people that are Aboriginal, but also non-Aboriginal people that have that same connection and want to learn and acknowledge the law, Aboriginal law or culture, and be a part of that, well then they, to me, become family
Yep.
because they're respecting the ways of the land as we did.
Yeah.
So it's that's what we're bridging that. That's why we're here to bridge that gap as a common, you know, I don't know what that word I'm looking for. Just just to bridge it, to bring a collective, yeah, human collective of all brother and sister, like you just mentioned,
Yep.
everybody.
Yep.
Um, yeah, not a division. We don't want a division. We want our culture to remain strong. We don't want to separate, but we would love to teach. I personally want to teach things that are appropriate to teach so that others do have the same connection to country as we do, because then we have more care for country, more respect, and
Yep.
the longevity of our culture will remain
Yeah.
because people will know about it.
That's right.
And people, once you know and oh, that makes sense, okay, it becomes meaningful to them, and then they can connect too.
You were talking about song lines before. Can you explain what a song line is?
From my understanding, a songline is putting putting a connection back into country. So it's like a ceremony, it's a story. So it tells of a story. It could tell of a travel passage and the story along from one area to another,
Yep.
and the spiritual connection along that journey. It can speak of, and so that's why they call it songs, because people would develop songs of that story to remember. Because not everyone remembers just through, hey, we went here and did that. When you talk about it in context of a song, then that's why it's called a song line, because it's from one place to another and putting that energy back into the land.
Yeah.
You know, through story, and that's what happens with
So each area's got their story, or each Aboriginal
have
clan's
certain
got
song
their
lines.
story. It's got their
Stories, song
and
lines.
it can sort of like flow from one into the other.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
like as the journey takes the person.
Like veins.
Yeah, as the journey takes the person,
Yes.
they flow into other people's song lines, and
Yep.
it creates a new song
Yep.
or adds to that original song.
Yeah, and that's why you have song lines that go all the way from, I guess, Waka Waka, Queensland, all the way down here. You know, I've heard of an older uncle tell me that we've had song lines, and therefore language can be quite similar going up and down
Okay.
of different areas because of that, I guess. You know,
So do you know?
I don't say I know everything.
So this particular area, is there a particular area song line associated to the people that lived here?
I believe there are many, but I'm not privy to the knowledge of those.
Right.
But I do know that, you know, for example, and this is common because this was spoke of, common knowledge I should say, because this was spoken about, that when elder Uncle Brian Nelson, very significant wise man, had passed, when his funeral happened, that funeral procession and that ceremony that ceremony that hadn't taken place here for a very, very long time. It was over, like, I don't know the exact many years, but they said, you know, over 200 years, there hadn't been Aboriginal ceremony on country here in Friarstown. And part of his you know, funeral or passing over, up into the cemetery, you know, there was that healing put back into the land. So I believe, and I don't want to be quoted because I don't want to get in trouble because of politics and stuff, that was then putting through a healing, a songline, a story that Uncle Brian had. In fact, his passing journey from one area of this particular Jara Jara country, from Campbell's Creek through to Friarstown, where is his place of body rest, because you know, he passed to the journey, that would be considered a songline because it's a story of an elder and him passing through, or his journey to the dream time.
Yeah.
So I know that songlines are meant to put energy and healing back into the country, as well as speaking of stories, because that's why they're ingrained, to add energy back in.
Yep.
So that's why they're called songlines, and they are sung as part of, if
Cool.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I don't claim to know a lot, and I try to explain it the best I can, but sometimes I can be wrong, and I'm still learning, you know.
No, that's cool.
But yeah.
So what sort of practices do you get involved in this area here, like where you live? Obviously, like cleansing.
Cleansing is, I believe anybody can do cleansing. Not, well, you know, or if you're doing it in an Aboriginal way. Look, again, I feel smoking ceremonies. Welcome to countries. Obviously, that is traditional custodians who do those. But myself as an Aboriginal woman, if I chose, I wanted to cleanse my home area and be respectful of the land that I'm living on and everything. I feel I am free to be able to do that without feeling like I'm crossing any, you know, or causing offence, because I'm showing respect by doing that, and I'm trying to heal as I go along. And I feel that's why I've been here for so long, but also why I'm so connected here, because I feel being told this is where I need to be. This is, I'm here to look after.
It's lovely energy, like this block that you've got, because it's it's very strong Aboriginal protection that I've felt as I've been walking around the block. But it's amazing that I feel a lot of white energy outside of this block, and it's so scattered. It seems so erratic.
Yeah.
You know, compared to the Aboriginal energy, just feels so natural and feels grounded. And the white energy, that we're connected to the mining era, and obviously the settlement and all that sort of stuff. It feels like white people running around trying to dig, trying to make money, being very, very confused, and a lot of anxiety and a lot of tension with it, whereas the Aboriginal energy here, no matter how they were treated by the whites, it feels very settled and very grounded. It's like they've got their very quickly got their earth balance, a lot quicker than what the white people who settled this country.
Wow, I just, that connection I have to the creek, I can't explain it. Like, I was drawn to it as a child. I am drawn to many places, but then to understand later on in life that was the particular place in the creek. There was one particular place. It was, like bedrock rock, and there's evidence of grinding stone, of grinding grooves, and a hole, a beautiful, perfectly rounded hole this big that can go a whole arm down.
Wow.
And that.
What would they use that for?
So what happens is that when you're grinding material, so stone material into, I don't know, like spears or tool making, you heat the rock to change the chemical composition of it, and then you dip it in water to make it harder or more sharper.
Yeah.
So I think perhaps the grinding, I don't know, it's a men's business, so I don't even know if I'm saying this right. Again, I don't want to get slapped on the hand for it, but from what my knowledge is coming from a search for educational perspective, is that when they did make tools to sharpen using the grinding grooves, so with your materials such as quartz or silkcrete, things like that, then to heat it up. Yes, a moment. Okay, I'll fix that in a second. Plunge it into the water. To change it, to harden it, or to make it less flaky. Or, I feel like they wanted to get along. I don't feel that they were out to, they just wanted to keep their sacred areas sacred in their spots, and just have their place still, and be able to share. They're very sharing people.
Yeah.
Jaros are a really beautiful sharing people, and as long as you looked after and protected country, then those ancestors would protect you. And that's the way I feel. I feel like they've adopted